At 89 years old, Buddy Guy is more than just a blues legend. He's a living bridge between the roots of American blues and the modern world of rock and guitar-driven music. He played with the masters, he influenced the legends, and he watched the blues shape generations of musicians who came after him. So when Buddy Guy finally spoke about the albums that meant the most to him, musicians everywhere leaned in. Because Buddy doesn't listen like a fan, he listens like someone who lived it. This list isn't about trends or chart success, it's about truth, feeling, and survival through music. Why Buddy Guy's taste matters. Buddy Guy grew up in Louisiana, learning the blues the hard way, in churches, juke joints, and back rooms where music wasn't entertainment, it was survival. When he talks about albums, he's talking about records that taught him how to play, how to feel, and how to speak through a guitar. These albums shaped his hands, his voice, and his soul. 1. B.B. King, Completely Well. At number 1, Buddy Guy chose an album that balanced tradition and accessibility. This record brought blues to a wider audience without watering it down. Songs like The Thrill Is Gone proved that deep emotion could live inside polished production. Buddy respected how B.B. stayed true to the blues while opening doors for future generations. To him, this album represented survival, evolution, and respect for the roots. 2. Muddy Waters, at Newport, 1960. This album captured something rare, electric blues in front of a stunned audience. Buddy Guy loved how Muddy commanded the stage, turning skepticism into applause within minutes. The energy, the danger, the confidence, it was all there. Buddy believed this album showed the world that the blues didn't belong in museums. It belonged on big stages. 3. John Lee Hooker. The healer Buddy loved this album because it showed longevity. John Lee Hooker worked with younger musicians without losing his identity. The grooves stayed deep, hypnotic, and timeless. Buddy admired Hooker's confidence, the way he never chased trends, yet always sounded relevant. To Buddy, this album proved that the blues heals both the player and the listener. 4. Albert King, Born Under a Bad Sign. This album changed everything. Albert King's guitar tone, string bends, and phrasing rewrote the rules. Buddy Guy respected how Albert made the guitar cry, scream, and testify all at once. Every song felt heavy with life experience. Buddy believed this album taught rock musicians how to borrow blues language without stealing its soul. 5. Otis Rush, Right Place, Wrong Time. Otis Rush played blues with tension and drama, and Buddy Guy felt that deeply. This album stood out because Otis didn't rush his emotions. He let them hang in the air, unresolved and painful. Buddy admired Otis's left-handed phrasing and emotional courage. The album sounded vulnerable, and that's why it worked. To Buddy, this record proved that blues doesn't need to be comfortable. 6. Jimi Hendrix, Are You Experienced? Buddy Guy didn't see Hendrix as a rock star first. He saw him as a bluesman with electricity. This album shocked Buddy because Hendrix took blues language and exploded it into something completely new. Feedback, distortion, and chaos, but still rooted in feeling. Buddy often said Hendrix showed the world how far the blues could go without breaking. 7. B.B. King, Live at the Regal. If Buddy Guy had to explain blues phrasing to someone, he'd point to this album. Live at the Regal captured B.B. King at his absolute best. Every bend, every pause, every note perfectly placed. Buddy respected how B.B. could make a single note speak louder than 100 fast runs. To him, this album was a masterclass in restraint, storytelling, and emotional control. 8. Howlin' Wolf, Moanin' in the Moonlight. No voice ever scared Buddy Guy more than Howlin' Wolf. This album wasn't smooth. It wasn't pretty. It was primal. Buddy admired Wolf's honesty, the way every note felt like it came straight from deep inside his chest. The guitar parts were simple, but the emotion was overwhelming. Buddy believed this album taught generations that feeling matters more than finesse. 9. Muddy Waters. Hard Again. Muddy Waters wasn't just an influence on Buddy Guy, he was family. Hard Again marked Muddy's comeback, and Buddy saw it as proof that the blues never ages. The album was raw, modern, and fearless, even decades into Muddy's career. Buddy loved how Muddy refused to soften his sound to please anyone. The record sounded like a man who knew exactly who he was. To Buddy, this album was a reminder that authenticity always wins. 10. Freddie King. Let's Hide Away and Dance Away. Buddy Guy always respected power in the blues, and Freddie King brought it in full force. This album showed how blues guitar could be aggressive, loud, and unapologetic. Freddie's instrumental tracks weren't polite. They demanded attention. Buddy admired how Freddie took traditional blues and pushed it toward rock energy without losing its heart. To Buddy, this album proved the blues didn't have to whisper to be honest. What Buddy Guy's list really tells us. Buddy Guy's favorite albums all share something in common. They're honest, they're fearless, and they never pretend to be anything they're not. These records didn't chase trends. They created paths. Even at 89, Buddy Guy listens like a student. Still learning, still feeling, still honoring the truth. Which album surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories straight from the heart of music history.